Hey everyone, welcome to my channel.
Can you focus on me? Baby, can you focus on me? Hands in the stove, how the faucet's running and I keep looking at you.
Welcome back to the Pretty Candid Podcast. I am your host, Marissa H. Season 2, Episode 1. We are back. It has been a minute. Please do not forget, before you do anything else, before you even finish watching this, go ahead and like. Please leave a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share, and we appreciate your support. I actually had a lot of people in between. I think I didn't set the expectation that this would be seasons. So a lot of y'all were hitting me up after the fact, I guess the maybe 10th episode. And it was like, so where's the rest of the season? Like, why haven't you been dropping him? So I'm sorry. I probably should have announced that better. But this is season 2, episode 1. Welcome back.
We is live.
So, y'all know I normally do a candid cocktail of the week, right? However, that is going to be water. We're not drinking this episode because what? I can't be on liquor all the time. I'm not going to lie to y'all. What's that TikTok? Is anybody concerned about their health? Like, yeah. So, no, we on good old water. Please get you some. Stay hydrated. All of that good stuff. So, we're going to get into these topics. Oh, I actually want to bring this up. While we were gone, right, under construction, I actually was sick. And I was in the hospital for a good little old minute. And then while I was there, I got to, like, get a taste of, like, not so much the doctors, but the nurses, right? So talk to the camera. Okay. So I had a lot of nurses coming in and out. Obviously, you know how that goes. You'll have a nurse coming 3 o'clock in the morning, right after lunch, whatever the case is, right? And so what I did notice was there were a lot of, like, y'all gonna get mad, do not fight with me in the comments, but there were, like, a lot of young nurses who were maybe not as seasoned, right? And I guess, honestly, you can't expect that, right? Because they're young and they're probably new. They're probably just getting on. But when I tell you the amount of nurses that I've endured, that I've come across, that don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just in that hospital doing whatever. And I really don't know how they're getting away with that, but they're definitely doing that. There was one instance. It's maybe like right after lunch, like I was just now eating, everything was going good. I'm like, okay, I feel rested. I feel okay. So she come in there and she's like, I'm going to get your vitals, So I'm like, okay, cool. So for some reason, though, everybody else has a machine. She ain't coming there with no machine. She got the old school, like, pew, pew, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. And she's done it 3 times. Like, she took my blood pressure 3 times. And I'm just like, girl, what's going on? Like, what? And she's like, your blood pressure is really high. And I'm just like, damn, like, how high is it? So I think she said it was like 130 over 111 or 101, something like that. It was high. And, whenever it get out them double digits, it's high. And she, like, kind of freaked me out. And then she, like, go get the nurse. And she's like, I'll be back. And so now I'm sitting there. First of all, let me say this. She was gone for about 25 minutes. So I'm 25 minutes of anxiety. Like, damn, like, I'm already sick in there. And then she come back. And then she come and get I guess she had the machine, but she had somebody else with her. And let me say that, y'all good for that in there. Y'all young nurses in there going to go backdoor and go get an older nurse. Because y'all wasn't getting nobody else y'all age. I noticed that when I was in there, but okay. But she go get her. And while they come in there, she hooked me up. She put something on my finger, I guess, to take my pulse, because ain't that part of the vital? Like, girl. And come to find out, my shit is normal, basically. Like, my shit is normal. Everything is fine. Oxygen levels is fine. Blood pressure is fine. My heart rate is great. Like, there was nothing wrong with me. All I'm saying is this, because I will give her this, right? Because, well, not her, but it was another one. They was coming in there real cute. And I feel that was cute. But y'all don't be knowing what the hell y'all doing, it seem like. And I don't, I'm not jacking that. Like, y'all are picking my arm 4 and 5 times, not getting the blood. But then Miss Susie come in here and she getting the goddamn blood. Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't enjoy that. So I will say this. Me personally, I go to the hospital again, pray to God, willing that I don't. But if I do, I want Miss Susie. I want an old seasoned nurse. Not old, seasoned. Yeah, we're gonna say seasoned. We're not gonna say old. Y'all was wrong for that. Y'all be cute in there though, but I ain't too much like that. Young and turnt nurses. That's what we gonna say. Young and turnt nurses. That's what y'all are. But kudos to y'all for getting y'all a career and doing y'all thing. But go to some classes. I don't know if they offer that, but they should. Cause yeah. But moving on after my rant. My next topic is discernment. Know yourself and those around you. I kind of wanted to delve into this just because I feel like, number one, I've been having a lot of people reach out to me for advice, and I ain't gonna lie, like, I'm bad at responding, so you finna get it all in this episode. But also I just been seeing like a lot of people go through stuff trying to figure out and like having to deal with, you know, the aftermath of bad decisions and things like that, or dealing with people or just, you know, whatever. I feel as though most people feel like they have discernment, but then when it comes to like their environment and people they know and maybe sometimes themselves, they're a little biased, which I feel like that's normal, right? But to know yourself and to know, like, even if you're still finding your way, like you're still finding your path, I feel like to know yourself as far as, okay, I know what I stand for. I know at least like my morals I have set in place. Shit, my boundaries I have set in place. Like, as long as that's the case, I feel like, you know, that's a part of you knowing yourself. And when you know yourself, anything around you external, you know what I mean? You're bound to pick up on that and kind of be like, is this the best fit for me? Does this work for me? Does this follow my morals? Does this, you know? But a lot of times I think when people are too comfortable, the discernment gets shifted. When you're too comfortable or you love something or you have a like weird obsession with it, whatever the case may be, when that's the case, I think that's when it's hard to have discernment, which again, I get that, right? Having said this, you have to always think, and I will say this, I think people who live more in like a day to day, you know, they don't really think long term or future. I think it's easier to not have the best discernment and you kind of just, you know, you just going. What is that, a hamster wheel? You just on a hamster wheel, you just going. And so you don't have a second to kind of stop and analyze what's around you. People especially, because people are not always great. Hopefully you do have great people around you, but sometimes you just got to take a second look. Not even just people, just where you're at in life, things you're doing, habits you've picked up, things like that. So I feel like I did get a lot of questions as far as advice about things in that nature. So I feel like that was the best way to address it. But yeah, like, please try to sit with self sometimes. Sitting with self means isolating. You're not around the BS. You're not around those people. You're not in the club. You're not on that liquor, whatever the case is. Like, you kind of taking a moment to sit with yourself and, you know, God, whatever higher up, you know, you believe in, whatever the case is. You take a minute to just be like, okay, where am I at? What am I doing? Who am I? You know? That's how you build self, but also build your discernment. Because then when you can evaluate and kind of analyze yourself, it becomes easy to do it around you. And everything just starts straightening out, you know? So I feel like that's very important. Is it easy? Because I did have that question. No, it's not. You're going to go through trial and error. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to like build discernment or to know self, and just, it's not easy, but you got to kind of just go through it and figure it out. You get better. So I think that's the one thing I always try to instill in people, like, it gets better. So even if you're having a tough time, it gets better. So that's to wrap that up. Also, by the way, Side note, any of y'all that do still want any advice or anything like that, please send the emails. I've been getting the DMs, and sometimes I look over them, and I don't want to do that to y'all. And I don't want y'all to cuss me out like how y'all did about not knowing about season 2. But yeah, please send the email. I'll plug it in the info under this video, so still get that advice you need. So second topic is, I'm excited about this one. Success and wealth does not have a time limit. Do not let social media cloud your judgment or arrest you. In the past, I think this was last season, I did talk about how social media kind of clouds people's judgment, and they build up these expectations because of what they see. Most people are on social media a good portion of their day, or a couple, whatever the case is. But I think people are on their phone a good portion of the day. And with that being said, I think that when you see so much stuff that it's like, okay, this is what it should look like, and this is what I should be doing, you become real hard on self, right? And so I'm not saying like, oh, if you're rich at 75, like, oh, that's great. Like I don't think there's a wrong or a right. I think you have to do what works for you. After you, I guess, decide what path you're going to take and what you decide to do, just do it. I mean, you better off doing that than seeing somebody else do something else and like kind of comparing yourself constantly to social media. Or right, second case, you're letting it rush you. So then you spend a lot of time like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Perfect example, was that 2019 or 2021? I had a clothing boutique here in Austin, Texas, House of No L. Some of y'all probably remember. And that first year and a half was great. Like, I was on fire. Everything was going awesome. I'm like, yeah, I got this. This is in the bag. Like, I'm thinking designer dreams, right? And it maybe could have been, I don't know, like, whatever. But then I decided that I wanted to go and do my own designs, and I had a flop. And so when that happened, it kind of set me back a little bit. And when you're funding your own business, like entrepreneurs know, like I ain't got that money no more. So you got to scratch back, right? And I work a real job at the same time. And then like the rest of that year was kind of just like, do I still want to do this? No, I don't necessarily want to do this. So what am I doing? So I don't know. I feel like when it comes to social media, I did see a lot of boutiques coming out around that time. And I did see a lot of, the models and the photo shoots. And that's what I did for my brand. I did brand photo shoots. I had models, all of that. But I think a lot of the reason why I kind of declined at the end was because I did let social media pressure me. I did feel like, okay, I got to put this collection out. I got to hurry up. And then, you got customers too. So you got clientele, and then you're looking at social media. So you're like, oh my God. Some people might not admit that, like, but that's real shit. Like I feel pressured. And that last year and a half, I just probably should have took it easy, or I should have been able to take time and come back and rebrand. You know what I mean? And so I think just like I did that, like with my business, not so much in my personal life, but I feel like people do that when it comes to like success, because that's the overall dream. You want to be successful, you want to have wealth, or at least have enough to feel comfortable and be okay. And you might not be at that point, so that's a goal, But I do think that our generation, below me and on, sees social media as like, okay, that's how I do it, like a guide. And maybe in some instances it can be, but as far as aligning it with your own personal life consistently and not kind of, always being able to meet that expectation, I just feel like it's like a self tear down, whatever. I don't even know how to word that, but no. So my biggest thing that I want to preach to people is don't put a time limit. Like if that's what you want to do, great, cool. But if that's not really your thing, that's not the type of person you are, don't let social media be something that rushes you, that makes you feel like you're not up to par in anything. So whether that's like you're in school, you're working, you just a regular 9 to 5, you trying to chase a dream, you know, entrepreneur, whatever the case is, like do what you're going to do, because whatever you're going to do is going to be great because it's for you. So you seeing somebody else's journey doesn't necessarily mean that that'll be your same journey. It can inspire you, but don't necessarily let it eat you up and then take a backslide. That's not what we want to do. So remember I said that. Let's go back to, oh yeah. Okay, so this kind of goes back to the advice thing, since I can't, like I said, respond to everybody individually. One thing, the next topic was some things and people are just for a season or two. Stop holding on. Holding on is holding you back. How do I want to start this off? So I will say, I think from when it comes to people, we'll start with people and then things. So when it comes to people, I think it just becomes a thing of, you can know somebody is not good for you. You can know that they're not a good person, or or maybe not even that. They just don't align with you, right? Or y'all are not equally yoked, whether it's a friendship or a partnership or like an actual relationship, right? But like I say a lot, because people are comfortable and they don't want to face maybe hard truths and be more progressive with themselves, I guess you could say. I think that people stay and they deal with certain people, and they stay in that partnership, relationship, friendship, whatever the case is. I do think I heavily believe in things and people serving a purpose and leaving, right? Some things serve a purpose and they're permanent, right? But not everything. I went through a lot of different things, so I feel like I've now come to the point, well, even kind of before now, I feel like I've come to a point where I can recognize like this is leaving and that's okay. That's literally how you have to do it. I think when it comes to things, so like maybe jobs or, you know, like actual like drinking, you know, drugs, whatever the case is, things like that. So when it comes to things, I think that that's more so of a like a how do I say this? When it comes to things, it's the same thing. You have to know when to let it go, but you have to realize why you're letting it go and how it's going to better you. Because at that point, certain things like that, like when it's your job, because most people, you know, that's how you get your bread. Like that's what you do. So it's hard to like leave a job and maybe not have one right lined up, but have to be hopeful that, you know, things are going to still work out, or whatever the case is. And then, like I said, if it's like drinking, you know, those are things most people do to cope, just to have fun, but it's not always the best thing for them health wise. So when it comes to things like that, I believe that those are maybe even harder to let go too, just because if it becomes a part of your routine and that's what you do, you used to going out and getting wasted all weekend, every weekend, and then just going back to work on Monday and being okay. But then it's starting to take effect on your lifestyle. That's hard to break, you know? Same thing if you fall into a relationship or a friendship where y'all have been, you know, peanut butter jelly ever since the beginning, and then now you're recognizing this is not who I align with, or they're not who I think they are, or whatever the case is. That's hard to break away. But holding on to things is gonna always hold you back. So if you want better for yourself and you want better for the future, I think you have to learn to like literally the same thing we were saying about discernment earlier. Well, I was saying, you have to know when to let it go. You have to know to be like, okay, this is not serving a purpose. Like I said, this is not serving a purpose, so I'm gonna let this go. This person isn't right for me, so I'm gonna let this go, and I have to be okay with it. So that's the thing. After letting go, you have to be okay with it. You're never going to lose anything that you won't get replaced with at a more higher value, you know? So that's how you have to look at things. Holding on to people and continuing to have bad habits and just not having the best routine, things like that, it's going to hold you back. So learn when to let things and people go. Some things are purposeful. They serve their purpose. It works for you in that moment. You know, after that time, it's expired. It's done, and you got to be okay with that. And you have to understand. I think also another thing to add is understand why you were there, because I think sometimes when you're holding on to certain things, even if it's like grudges too, you have to understand like why was I in that moment, to understand like where you're going to, because you're letting it go and you're gonna be okay. It's just a process, and I think it's hard for people to have that process, but it's very much needed. And everybody, you know, runs their own race, so you know you might slip up, things might happen, but you have to stay the course and understand like, okay, this is for a season, I let it stay for 2 seasons, okay, we're done, it's done, I'm dropping it, I'm not doing that no more, or I'm not with them no more, or I don't party, whatever the case. So know that. So that goes hand in hand with discernment too, but learn when to let it go so you could be great, right? I'm not gonna even lie to y'all, this is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is literally tomorrow, so y'all will see this, we ain't gonna even put a date on it right now, but so I'm going to actually wrap this episode up. So I want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, do not forget to like, follow, subscribe. All of my socials are there in the bottom with the info. And we will see y'all next time. Episode 2 coming soon.